Elders did not gather every time an outer disciple improved. If they did, Azure Cloud Sect would collapse under tea, speeches, and useless hope. They gathered when improvement created questions that could not be assigned to ordinary categories. Lin Fan had become such a question by the fifth evening. The meeting took place in a side chamber below the Hall of Outer Affairs, not high enough for intersect politics, not low enough for outer disciples to smell the incense. 4 people sat around a square table: Elder Gu, Elder Shen of the Spirit Root Registry, Deacon Ma from the lower training court, and Deacon Su from the storehouse. A 5th seat remained empty, though a cup of tea had been poured before it. The side chamber had been built for practical secrets rather than grand ones. Its walls were thick enough to blur voices, not thick enough to resist a determined spiritual sense from the main hall. The formation under the floor was old and well maintained in the places visitors could see. Beneath the table, however, one corner of the array line had been repaired with cheaper silver ink. Elder Gu had noticed that years ago and never reported it. A weak point in a listening room was not always a flaw. Sometimes it told him who believed they were listening without being heard. Tonight, the weak point remained quiet. The official listening formation did not. That meant the empty seat had backing. Deacon Su noticed none of this. Deacon Ma noticed the tea. Elder Shen noticed Elder Gu noticing both. Thus the meeting began with 3 different levels of caution before anyone spoke Lin Fan's name. Empty seats were sometimes more honest than occupied ones. They meant someone wanted to listen without being named. Elder Gu noticed the cup and said nothing. Elder Shen had white hair, thin brows, and the dry patience of a man who had watched thousands of young people discover that spirit roots did not care about ambition. He opened the register with one long finger. Lin Fan. 16. Low-grade root with abnormal response during initial test. Poison residue detected. Possible contamination from meal hall. Recent confinement. Rank adjusted from 976th to 643rd. Unofficial paired drill victory over Chenrue, rank 598. Deacon Su clicked his tongue. That last part is not in the ration ledger. It is in every mouth below the second ridge, Deacon Ma said. Mouths are not records. No, but they bite. Elder Gu looked at Deacon Ma. You witnessed the drill. Yes. Assessment. Deacon Ma rubbed his jaw. No significant chi output. No visible hidden weapon. No obvious forbidden art. He read Chenrue's movement and used placement. It looked simple after it happened, which means it was not simple. Elder Shen's eyes sharpened slightly. Could it be memorized trickery? Against 1 exchange, yes. Against 3, less likely. Against Chenrue specifically? Possibly. Chenrue has habits. All disciples have habits, Elder Gu said. Most low-grade roots cannot exploit them. The room accepted that without pleasure. Deacon Su leaned back. If he is useful, raise him properly. If he is dangerous, restrict him properly. Half measures make resource planning unpleasant. Resource planning is not the highest principle of the sect, Elder Shen said. It is the one everyone remembers when rice is short. Deacon Ma snorted softly. Elder Gu placed a silver needle on the table. The others looked at it. The needle had been cleaned, but a dark green stain remained near the tip. This came from his meridian inspection, Elder Gu said. Old root decay chi. Not meal hall poison. Not ordinary medicine. He claims pre-dawn root pain led him behind the quarter. Hanwei confirms a plan test near the west training yard did not occur as expected. Maintenance maps below that yard are incomplete. Deacon Su stopped looking bored. Elder Shen lifted the needle but did not touch the stained part. How old? Older than the current outer court layout. Then the boy found something. Or something found him, Deacon Ma said. Deacon Su drew his hands back from the table. If old root decay chi is involved, this should be treated as contamination until proven otherwise. Convenient, Deacon Ma said. Safe. Safe for whom? For the sect. Deacon Ma's expression hardened. People who say that usually mean safe for the person signing the order. Deacon Su flushed. I manage resources, not heroic speeches. You manage rice. Rice keeps disciples from becoming thieves. It did not stop Zhang Hu. The words struck the table harder than intended. Elder Shen lifted one finger. The two deacons fell silent, not because he was physically stronger than all of them, though he was, but because old men who had spent decades recording roots knew how to make disappointment feel like a formal punishment. We are not here to defend our offices, Elder Shen said. We are here because a disciple with a low-grade root has become difficult to ignore. Low-grade roots do occasionally improve under pressure, Deacon Su said, quieter now. They improve within shape, Elder Shen replied. A bent branch may straighten somewhat. It does not become iron because someone looked away for 3 days. Elder Gu said, unless someone wrapped iron around it. The room looked at the stained needle again. No one liked the metaphor. That made it useful. The empty seat's tea cooled untouched. Elder Gu watched the steam thin. Someone behind a wall formation would hear everything said here. Perhaps an inner affairs elder. Perhaps Yu Qing's master. Perhaps someone from the discipline hall. The identity mattered less than the fact of listening. We have 3 questions, Elder Gu said. First, can Lin Fan's improvement be explained by recovery from contamination and discipline training? Partially, Elder Shen said. Second, has he obtained an unreported technique or inheritance? Likely, Deacon Ma said. Deacon Su frowned. If so, sect law requires surrender of dangerous inheritances found within sect grounds. Elder Gu's gaze moved to him. Deacon Su added, in theory. In practice, Elder Shen said, forcing a damaged root disciple to reveal a technique before we understand its relationship to his stability could kill him or ruin the method. That sounds like recruitment, Deacon Su said. It sounds like not breaking the jar before checking whether it contains wine or acid. Deacon Ma folded his arms. The boy is controlled. Too controlled for his age. Fear can teach control, Elder Gu said. Not like that. The room quieted. Deacon Ma had no love for poetic interpretations. If he called something abnormal, he meant the body had told him what the report could not. During the paired drill, he continued, he could have won harder. He did not. He could have hidden worse. He did not. He gave exactly enough to change how people moved around him. That is not a frightened boy discovering talent. That is someone managing pressure. Then suppress him, Deacon Su said. Suppression creates resistance, Elder Shen replied. Recruit him. Recruitment creates expectation. Observe him. Observation has already become part of his calculations, Elder Gu said. The statement settled unpleasantly. Elder Shen turned a page in the register. His answers during examination? Careful, Elder Gu said. Lies? Some. Important lies? The kind that protect a larger truth. That sounds like every disciple who has ever stolen pills. No. Pill thieves lie toward desire. Lin Fan lies toward structure. Deacon Su looked lost. Deacon Ma understood enough to grimace. He decides what answer makes the next question stand where he wants it. Yes. At 16? Elder Gu's mouth thinned. That is one of the problems. Elder Shen tapped Lin Fan's age with the back of his fingernail. Old souls are a superstition. So are half the warnings in the sealed registry until one survives long enough to read the incident reports. Do you believe he is possessed? No. Reincarnated? Deacon Su looked openly alarmed now. Elder Gu did not smile. If every calm outer disciple were a reincarnated monster, the world would be kinder. No. I believe he has obtained knowledge, pressure, or method that does not match his apparent path. That is enough. The empty seat's tea had stopped steaming. The unseen listener remained silent. Elder Chen placed the stained needle down. "What do you recommend?" Elder Gu did not answer immediately. He had asked himself the same question several times since Lin Fan first touched the spirit root pillar. The boy's low-grade root should have placed him in the outer mountain's discard pile. Instead, every attempt to classify him had produced more categories. Poison victim. Bullying target. Abnormal test response. Hidden route user. Damaged route improver. Quiet combat reader. Useful. Dangerous. Not yet powerful enough to seize. Too interesting to discard. Give him limited room, Elder Gu said. Daylight training. No formal challenge rights until medical observation ends. Raise rations enough to continue improvement but not enough to draw top-rank resentment beyond what already exists. Assign him low-risk information work once stable. Information work exposes records, Deacon Su objected. Low records, Elder Gu said. Low records are where old mistakes are buried. Exactly. Deacon Su blinked. Elder Gu continued, if he sees nothing, we learn his eyes are limited. If he sees something and reaches clumsily, we learn his greed. If he sees something and does not reach, we learn his caution. If someone else moves because he is near records, we learn they were already watching. Deacon Ma laughed under his breath. You are using him as bait. I am using the attention around him as bait. Difference? One lets the boy live longer. Elder Chen studied him for a moment. You have grown fond of this anomaly. I dislike wasted material. That was not a denial. It was the answer I chose. For the first time, Elder Shen's dry expression almost became amusement. Information work? Deacon Ma asked. Herb sorting, old record copying, maintenance verification. Tasks that reveal whether his eyes are as useful as his hands. Elder Shen nodded slowly. And the inheritance? We let him think he is hiding it. Deacon Su looked alarmed. If it is dangerous? Then he will either stabilize it or expose the danger trying. If we seize him now, we gain a corpse, a broken secret, and rumors that an elder robbed an outer disciple. If we wait, we gain data. Behind the wall, something shifted too softly for any lower-ranked cultivator to hear. Elder Gu heard it. So did Elder Shen. Neither looked toward the sound. Deacon Ma grunted. What about Lu Sheng? Let pride test edges, Elder Gu said. Under supervision. That is cruel. It is the outer sect. No one argued. Elder Shen closed the register. There is another matter. Yu Qing requested the lower court time strip record. Deacon Su blinked. Why would an inner disciple care? Because she has eyes, Elder Gu said. Will that interfere? It will complicate. Same thing, Deacon Su muttered. Elder Shen's dry mouth curved faintly. Not in cultivation. The empty seat remained empty. Elder Gu stood. Then we proceed. Limited room. Quiet records. No public endorsement. No hard suppression unless he injures someone above drill allowance or attempts to leave sect grounds. And if he tries to enter the west drainage again? Deacon Ma asked. Elder Gu picked up the stained needle and slid it back into its paper wrap. Then we learn whether he is foolish, greedy, or returning to something that recognizes him. The last words were spoken lightly. Too lightly. Elder Shen looked at him. Elder Gu did not explain. The meeting ended without a formal conclusion, which meant the conclusion had teeth. Lin Fan would not be recruited. He would not be crushed. He would be given space measured carefully enough to become a trap if he mistook it for freedom. The orders left the room in pieces. Deacon Su received the ration adjustment and a reminder that no additional medicine was to be issued without Elder Gu's mark. That pleased him because it looked like control and displeased him because half measures always became arguments at the storehouse window. Deacon Ma received authority to supervise any drill involving Lin Fan, Lu Sheng, Han Wei, or their immediate circles. That made him sigh aloud in the corridor. Supervision meant time. Time meant listening to young men explain why their pride was actually training. Elder Shen took the copied spirit root test notes and the original low-grade classification. He would compare them against old abnormality cases, not because he expected an answer, but because old registries sometimes revealed how previous generations had failed. Elder Gu kept the stained needle. That was the only object in the meeting that mattered. As he wrapped it, he thought of Lin Fan's eyes during questioning. Not fearless. Not obedient. Not young in the correct way. Elder Gu had seen disciples with secrets before. Most hugged secrets like stolen buns, terrified someone would take them. Lin Fan carried his like a knife already measured for several throats. That did not make him guilty. It made him valuable enough to survive a little longer. That was the closest thing to mercy the outer administration could produce. Not kindness. Not protection. A calculation that death would currently waste more than life. In Azure Cloud Sect, such calculations saved more disciples than compassion did. They also killed more cleanly when the calculation changed. Elder Gu knew that. So did anyone who survived long enough to sit at that table. For now, the calculation favored breath. Lin Fan would be allowed to breathe, watched closely enough that every inhale might later become evidence. In the outer sect, that counted as a generous outcome. Generosity, here, was only another word for delayed disposal with better records. And records, unlike pity, could be sharpened later. That was why Elder Gu valued them and why Lin Fan would soon be placed among them. The elders believed they were giving him paper, ink, and limited movement. In truth, they were opening a corridor lined with old mistakes. Whether that corridor trapped him or fed him would depend on who read faster. Outside the hall, Yuqing stood in a shadowed corridor with a records tray in her hands. She had not been behind the wall formation. She had not needed to be. The assistant she sent had delivered the time strip request at exactly the right hour and returned with exactly the wrong expression. That told her enough. Elder Gu was interested. Elder Shen was cautious. The outer deacons were divided. Lin Fan remained alive. Therefore the sect had not decided what he was. Yuqing looked down at the copied time strip report. The numbers showed an ordinary result. The spacing between steps did not. 3 delays. 2 deliberate inefficiencies. 1 recovery pattern too clean for a low-grade disciple. She folded the paper once. Lin Fan, she said softly. The name no longer looked like a clerical anomaly. It looked like a question someone had placed inside the sect to see who would answer first. Questions like that attracted blades.